Hey everybody, Derek here for the weekly news recap. Am I actually? Yes I am. Microphone is on. I'm going to boost it a little bit. Put the mic into the yellows. No, a little bit more. That'll probably do it. Anyway, yeah, sorry, there was a dog visiting, so sorry we're a little bit late. Anyway, we're going to jump into the news for the 16th to the 22nd of May 2022. So, first up, Sony have revealed a curated list, I guess, of what's going to be on their next PlayStation Plus thing that they're changing it to, the PlayStation Plus Essential Extra Premium stuff. It's kind of a weird announcement because, as they state later on in this blog post, that it's not the full list, and it's kind of a question of why didn't you just put out the full list? This is a weird way to do it. It's also just straight up a list. It's not like a trailer to show off any of the games or anything like that. It's just here's the list, I guess. Anyway, so they're broken down into a couple of things. Monthly games will be pretty much what already happens on PlayStation Plus right now, in that every month some new games are put up and you can add them to your library and whatever if you are subscribed to PlayStation Plus. So that will be the same for all tiers, Essential, Extra, and Premium. They'll all get the same benefits that are currently available today for PlayStation Plus. So the new free game every month free games every month is not going to change. That's going to be the same thing going forward. But after that, the Extra and Premium tier. So that's all the Essential PlayStation Plus gets. Hey Melwan, how's it going? Have you reached the gym yet? Or are you still having lunch? So the Essential tier is basically just what PlayStation Plus is right now. And then after that, if you decide to pay more for the Extra and or Premium tiers, getting there soon, okay. They will share a selection of the content that will be available, so it's not the whole thing. And it's just a weird question of why just give the whole list. I don't understand why you're giving us this selection of what's available. But anyway, so PlayStation first-party studio stuff from the PS4 and PS5 game catalog. So it's pretty much all of their first-party games, as far as I can tell. I'm sure there's one or two that I'm missing. The Knacks, basically. There's no Knack 2, just Knack 1. So there's one missing already. Some stuff from Housemarque before they got big and important with Returnal, so Alien Nation and Dead Nation, which are very similar games. They're like top-down twin-stick shooters. They're fun, and it's probably best that they're included as part of the subscription because I never felt pushed to actually purchase them, I guess is the way it's going. And then after that, a lot of these are games that were already on the PS5 PlayStation Plus collection. Right, there were like 20 games, 25 games, something like that. When you bought your PS5 and had a PlayStation Plus subscription, you just got these games. So a lot of them are just these ones. They're just added in again. Bloodborne is one of them. Death Stranding was one. Or the Gravity Rushes may have been added to that. I'm not sure. I'm a little pissed that Horizon Zero Dawn is added because I literally just bought it. Well, not literally just, I don't know, a month ago or so. Anyway. Vast majority of these I already own. Days Gone will be a good one. Maybe it'll get more people looking at it and it might get some appreciation because there are parts of it that are really good. And I think it was just kind of washed away in Sony's lack of marketing for it. The Demon's Souls remake is excellent, honestly. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, good, because I wasn't going to pay for the Director's Cut. I already had the main game. I'm not paying €60 again for it. God of War, that's the restart, I guess, the one where he's a Viking, basically. It's that God of War. The Gravity Rushes, excellent games. I'm glad that they'll be included. The newer Infamouses aren't great, honestly. I didn't really enjoy them all that. Knack is just dumb, but it's fine, it's free, whatever. Little Big Planet 3, yep. Thing about Little Big Planet 3 is you get everything from Little Big Planet 1 and 2 as well. They're like anything you had from those games is still added in, so that's great. The Loco Roco games are also a lot of fun. Marvel Spider-Man, again, was included, I think, in that PlayStation Plus thing. Matterfall, another Housemarque twin stick thing. The Medieval remake, presumably, is okay. Patapon, great game. Resogun, there's a lot of Housemarque here. Resogun's another twin stick shooter, and then Returnal, which is their big thing that Like, a lot of people look at it and think, yeah, I want to play it, but I don't want to pay €70 for it. So at least it's free. So you got that going for you. Tearaway, great. The Shadow of the Colossus remake, also really good. The Last Guardian, haven't played it, so not sure. The Last of Us remastered. Why did that need to be remastered? I don't know, but whatever. And then the DLC for it is there as well. Until Dawn is a really good game for Supermassive Games. That's on the channel if you want to check it out. There's a full LP of it somewhere. Almost all of the Uncharted's. So the only one they're missing is the Vita one, which everyone seems to forget. And the weird card game, I guess, that was also on the Vita, that everyone justifiably forgets. And the Omega collection for Wipeout, which is a bit... like, it's very good, but it's a bit sad because Wipeout is gone. You know, the studio behind it is defunct. But anyway, that's all Sony first-party stuff. So third-party, which is kind of where it gets a little bit more interesting. So Ashen is a Souls-like type game that was exclusive to Xbox for a good while, and is now has been on PlayStation for about a year, and now it's going to be included in this. There's a couple of Ubisoft games that have the triple asterisk beside them, which is basically it's part of the Ubisoft Plus service. So there is like an Ubisoft Plus Bare Essentials or something or other that you will get as part of the PlayStation Plus subscription. So with no extra cost, you'll get that. But there is a further service from Ubisoft for some of these games. Okay. Then we have Batman Arkham Knight, but not Arkham Asylum or Arkham City or Arkham Origins. Why? Like, there is a Return to Arkham remaster for those games to get them off the PS3 and 360 and to put them onto the PS4. So they're there. Like, they exist. It's strange that they're not part of this service. Celeste is a really great indie game. City Skylines, dunno. I've heard good things anyway. Guardians of the Galaxy will replace my Spider-Man streams whenever I finish, so okay. Your Spider-Man stream's going to take a while. There's a lot of DLC still to go, and Miles Morales as well. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy being added is good because, again, it was another game that not many people wanted to play. Or, sorry, not many people wanted to buy because it was so expensive. And I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be a good game, but it got decent reviews, so there might be something there. Control, excellent game. But I think it has been on PS Plus before, so chances are a lot of people already own it. Dead Cells is an excellent roguelike. Yep, absolutely. More Ubisoft factory-made video games. Since Far Cry 3, they basically have just made the exact same game and put a different title on it, but whatever. Final Fantasy 15, the Royal Edition, again, was also part of that PS Plus collection thing. For Honor, another Ubisoft thing. Is that still played? Is that a dead game? I don't know. I never really hear about it much online, so I'm always curious. Hollow Knight, excellent. Guardians of the Galaxy, as Melvin was talking about, yeah, it will, like, it's a very decent action-adventure type thing that has some performance issues because it stutters and whatever, but it looks interesting enough. Mortal Kombat 11, again, was also part of the PlayStation Plus. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is a bit of a weird choice to throw in there, but okay, that's Bandai Namco's fucking addition to this collection. They have so many other games they could have added there, like Dark Souls. You could have just put that in there, but okay. NBA 2022, whatever. Outer Wilds is really good, but it's very confusing. I've always wanted to play it on, like, stream it, but it's such a strange game that I have no idea how I'd even go about doing that. Red Dead Redemption 2, sure, from Rockstar. They've already ignored Red Dead Online, so why not just throw Red Dead Redemption 2 in there as well? Resident Evil, I believe, is the Resident Evil remake remaster. The re game. So it's the original Resident Evil that was remade for the GameCube, which was then remastered for modern consoles. It's very good, but also kind of weird. Soul Calibur 6, oh, never mind. Bandai Namco did add another one. They didn't add Tekken. I would have gone for Tekken over Soul Calibur, but okay. Soul Calibur, yeah, fun. South Park, The Fractured Butthole. Okay, sure, but not the other one? What, they had a second game? Or is that the second game? No, The Stick of Truce is the first game, right? And The Fractured Butthole is the sequel. Why not both games? Why the sequel and not the original? It's kind of weird. The Artful Escape is a weird addition as well, because it's very new. It's an Annapurna side-scrolly story thing. The Crew 2 racing game, again from Ubisoft, part of their Ubisoft Plus thing. And Tom Clancy's The Original Division. Not The Division 2, which I would think most Division players have moved on to. Like, it's a live service game. They've gone on to the sequel. You're not going to have a lot of people playing it. But maybe they think, hey, we'll get people in and, you know, monetize them, microtransactions and whatever. So, I guess. Okay, moving on to the classic games catalog, which is kind of what I'm mostly interested in because, again, I have the vast majority of these games already. So the classic games catalog is exclusively for the premium plan or the deluxe plan, but the deluxe plan is kind of weird, so I'm not really going to talk about that too much. The deluxe plan is basically for territories that don't have PlayStation Now, that don't have a streaming capability. They're effectively the premium tier, but without the streaming stuff. So the classic games catalog is basically, so I'll get into it here, or rather, disclaimer at the start. What is wrong with my tongue today? Players who have previously purchased the digital version of select games from the original PlayStation and PSP generation will not have to make a separate purchase or sign up to PlayStation Plus to play these titles on PS4 or PS5. When these titles are released for PS4 and PS5, players can head to PlayStation Store and download a version for the consoles at no extra cost if they already own the digital version of the title. Some of the titles will also be available for individual purchase. So the idea here is, if you bought a bunch of PlayStation classics from PS3 era when they were on that store, so I have tons of those. I have like a lot of the Final Fantasies, the Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and so on. I have a lot of those as digital purchases that I've been hanging on to my PS3 for, so I can play them. But if it's the case here that they'll also work on the PS4, then that will be excellent. And if those games are also carry over, that will be even more excellent. So the classic games catalog is from the original PlayStation and the PSP. So first party titles, Ape Escape, which is an excellent game. You see it a lot on a lot of the speedrun channels because it's a good game for speedrunning. But it is basically apes have escaped and you need to catch them. And it was a big showcase for the DualShock, the dual analog sticks, which were like brand new at the time this game came out. And it was kind of packaged with it as a kind of, here's how DualShock will work. Here's how dual analog sticks work in a fixed camera game, which is kind of weird. Hot Shots Golf, whatever. There's so many of those games now. You could really just get the latest one and you'll pretty much be up to speed on it. Intelligence Cube with a Q, I have never heard of that game. Intelligent Cube, rather, not Intelligence Cube. Anyway, never heard of it. No idea what it's like. Jumping Flash is pretty much Mirror's Edge before Mirror's Edge happened. Siphon Filter is Splinter Cell. Pretty much before Splinter Cell happened. It's clunky as fuck though, so I'll be interesting to see if they make any quality of life improvements like analog stick control instead of tank controls, which is what the game was known for, and maybe mapping the camera to the right analog stick instead of the shoulder buttons and so on. Super Stardust Portable, again, Super Stardust is a great game, another twin stick shooter from Housemarque. They make really good twin stick shooters. Ugh. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to warn you there. That one came on suddenly. Apologies. Okay. Third-party titles. Mr. Driller, I think, is like Dig Dug. Just modern. Tekken 2 from Bandai Namco. Not Tekken 1 or Tekken 3. Tekken 2. Okay, I mean, Tekken 2 is great, but I would have gone with Tekken 3. That was like the one everybody would have played in the arcade. It was the most popular one. I don't know why they went with Tekken 2 instead of that, but whatever. And then a couple of Worms games. Pretty sure you know how Worms works, so that should be fine. And then the classic games catalog remasters, so these are a little bit different. So the original PlayStation PSP games are basically as they are. They'll pretty much play exactly the way they were made in the first place. The games catalog remasters are basically PS2 games that were remastered about 4, 5, 6 years ago, maybe. They were the PS2 Classics collection. They were remastered for the PS4. That's pretty much all of these. And I think there are one or two that weren't part of that. Ape Escape 2, sure. Arc the Lad, I think, is like Zelda. Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2 are also kind of like Zelda, but they also have town management stuff, which is really fun. Fantavision, I've never heard of. Hot Shots Tennis is Hot Shots Golf, but with tennis. Fine. The entire Jack is something else. The entire Jack series, so Jack and Daxter, the precursor to Legacy, is the first one. Jack 2, Jack 3, and then Jack kart racing, basically. Rogue Galaxy is an excellent JRPG that does not get the attention it deserves, but it is a very good game. Siren is like the horror camera games where you take pictures of ghosts and it hurts them for some reason. It's that game. It's also quite good. And Wild Arms 3, for some reason, and not 1 and 2, but whatever, is a JRPG set in Wild West, basically, and is also quite good. Third-party remasters. The Bioshock Remastered Collection came out a good while ago. The Borderlands exactly the same. The Handsome Collection, the Bulletstorm. These are all PS3 games that were remastered for the PS4, basically. And the Lego Harry Potter Collection, but not Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, any of those ones. None of those were added for whatever reason. No, the Harry Potter one, the one nobody wants. Okay, fair enough. And then we have what PS Now is basically going to turn into. So the original PS3 games getting via streaming because they don't know how to make the PS3 architecture emulator work, pretty much. So again, from first party, Crash Commando, I've never heard of. So I don't know. Having Demon Souls, the original, is going to be pretty good. So people can like compare and contrast the remake with the original and find out that, wow, they did it like almost perfectly. It's really impressive. Echo Chrome is a weird MC Escher puzzle game that I think is actually on phones now. 2 Hot Shots Golf for some reason. Okay. Ico, or Ico, which is also an excellent, I guess action adventure. There's not a whole lot of action in Ico, so adventure game. I was kind of always wishing they'd remake that, because they remade Shadow of the Colossus and they didn't remake, but then The Last Guardian and Ico was kind of left off to the side, but it's a very good game. Infamous 1 and 2 and the horror DLC are very good games, so I'm hoping that, like, the streaming service holds up well for them. Another Loco Roco, 2 Motorstorms for some reason. Okay. Puppeteer, I have heard of it, but I forget what it's like. I always thought that was an iToy game. Okay. Rain is kind of interesting. Despite being a first-party game, it was actually like from an indie studio who made it. Basically, you can only see your character in the rain, so you're basically moving around an invisible character trying to escape scary demons and stuff. But you can only see them when they're out in the rain. Or more specifically, you will see the raindrops hit the character model, basically. It's a very interesting looking game. The Ratchet and Clank PS3 trilogy, which is very good. Resistance 3 for some reason and not 1 and 2. Okay, why would people jump into 3 and not 1 and 2? But whatever. Super Stardust again, excellent. Tokyo Jungle is a pretty funny game. It's like a crowd control sort of game. You are in Tokyo, as you might imagine. And all human beings have disappeared. They've been gone for like a couple of years now or something. And I think you start as a Pomeranian. And you're moving around the city just gathering up other animals and going about their business. I know, I have not explained that well, but it is an interesting game. When Vikings attack is tower defense thing. Third-party stuff, Asura's Wrath from Capcom will be interesting because that game, when it originally came out, didn't have an ending. You had to buy the DLC to get the ending. So I'm wondering, are they going to include that? Are they going to include the actual ending of the game? That would be fun. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, not Lords of Shadow 1. Why? No one's going to jump halfway into a story. Want to know what happened at the start? The Devil May Cry HD collection, sure, you can also get it on PS4 and PS5 now as well, and honestly, I would do that. Enslaved Odyssey to the West, I have a full LP of that, so you don't need to play it, just go watch it. It was fun. Fear, but not Fear 2 or 3. Lost Planet 2, but not Lost Planet 1 or 3, although I think Lost Planet 3 was a PS4 game, not sure. Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, but not Ninja Gaiden Sigma 1 or 3. And then Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, but not Red Dead Redemption. Why? So, as Melvin mentioned in her stream this morning, it's probably because Rockstar wanted to release a remaster of it at some point, and rather than having it already available on PS Now or whatever for free for PS Plus subscribers and whatever, they're like, no, pay full like €60 for it, €70 for it. So, yeah, Probably. That is probably what they're doing there, but still, it's a bit weird. And then we have time-limited trials. These are just demos that already exist, but whatever. I'm not sure if these are like very specifically to PlayStation Plus and won't be available to people who aren't on it. I don't know. And then what happens like monthly? Are new games being added? How does the service work? So the PlayStation Plus essential thing, as previously mentioned, the free game every month that PlayStation Plus does is going to continue. Starts the very first Tuesday of every month, as it has been doing since they incepted it. As Melwood says, I'm so pissed off about that, Red Dead Redemption. It's available now. You can actually play it right now on PS Now, but so they've removed it for some reason. Don't know. It's a weird one. Again, this is a selection of what will be available, so it's potentially that, I don't know, games that are already there, they just didn't bother putting on the list. That might be it. Maybe these are like literally being added to it and weren't already there. I don't know. I've never had a PS Now subscription, so I don't actually know myself. So that's the essential tier. The monthly refresh of games will continue, and the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tiers, an additional monthly refresh of games. So they are rotating a roster of games available every month. The question is, do they rotate games out? Is it a case that the licensing agreement with, or whatever agreement they have with Rockstar, Bandai Namco, Ubisoft, whoever, will games disappear from the service? They don't say. All they're saying is they're rotating games in. The number of games refreshed will vary per month, so an additional monthly refresh will occur in the middle of each month with new games across the Extra and Premium tiers. It doesn't say if games will actually be removed. Oh, okay. Undead, weird, because Undead Nightmare is also there now. Okay, so yeah, okay, these aren't games that are just literally being added. This is just a weird selection of games they've made. So you could, I guess, read into it that Red Dead Redemption is actually going to be removed, but again, until the actual full release of the list, the full list comes out, why did they just go, here's the whole thing? Like, it's coming out, the service is meant to be rolling out next month. Like, surely by now they know what games are going to be there. So why not? Just here's the whole list. No. So anyway, please note, titles may vary by local market, and some titles may not be available to stream until after launch, but they will be available to download and play. There's also a mention somewhere that more games are being added to the list, so the list is not complete, and your territory may vary, and so on. And then additional news, Ben Studios put out a tweet. Is the tweet here? Yeah, basically, the older games, the PlayStation 1 classics and so on, are getting trophy support as well. So there was, and obviously it's at 0.0% of players earned because the game hasn't come out yet. But yeah, trophy support will be added for all of those PS1 classics and PSP games when they are released on the PlayStation Plus service. There was a patent that Sony put out years ago where they could somehow detect actions and activities in older games and then tie those up to trophies and achievements. So they already did that with the PS2 classic series, like Rogue Galaxy, etc. They all got trophy support as well, so they're backporting it, I guess, into PS1 and PSP games. So that'll be good. Bunch of classic trophies for Resident Evil and so on. That'll be fun to do. Okay, moving on. So some updates. So a couple of games got announced over this week. This is Soulstice, spelled wrong, obviously. I don't actually know who the developer are, but it kind of stuck out to me because it looked like a sort of grim gothic Devil May Cry thing. And I love Devil May Cry, so I'm like, more of that, please. Don't know when Devil May Cry 6 will ever make an appearance, so who knows. But this is a fairly lengthy trailer even going over some gameplay and how combat will work. It's kind of doing the sort of fixed camera angle, floating camera that the Devil May Cry series uses, or like the older God of War's and so on would have done, even though there is a bit of a camera control. But yeah, this will be an interesting one to keep an eye on, so looking forward to giving that one a shot. Also, that got a pre-rendered trailer. This is The Chant, which is a horror title coming to PS5 and probably Xbox Series, although it's not mentioned since this is a PlayStation trailer. But Basically, it's like, think of like the camp horror games or camp horror movies from like the 80s, like Friday the 13th, Jason, and so on, where, you know, people go to a camp, but it's like a horror camp and people died here 10 years ago or something like that. So it's that, but it's a cult. And maybe some weird cult shit has been happening. And now, hey, you're the next batch of recruits / victims kind of thing. Looks interesting. I'll give it a look. And Spirittea will probably appeal to people who play Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing or Spiritfarer or Cozy Grove or any of those kind of games. So it's pretty much Stardew Valley with ghosts. Basically, you have a tea house and you are helping ghosts pass on. So it's a bit Spiritfarer in that sense. But you also have a bunch of neighbors that you can talk to and, you know, build up your tea house and you know, farm and craft and so on. So it's got that whole thing going for it. It's very much Stardew Valley, but maybe more of an Asian aesthetic and ghosts. Although, yes, are there ghosts in Stardew Valley? There is a ghost. I'm not sure if they count as more than... Anyway, there are ghosts in Stardew Valley, but whatever. Multiversus also got a trailer. So if you don't remember, Multiversus is the Warner Brothers Smash Bros, basically. Warner Smash Bros, I guess. So it's bringing in a bunch of characters that Warner Brothers currently have the licenses for. So all of DC, so Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, etc. Scooby-Doo. So Shaggy's in there, but then like the older Looney Tunes. So Bugs Bunny is in there. Tasmanian Devil is in there too. This person, I don't know who they are. They must be new. Oh wait, no, it's Game of Thrones, right? Yeah, it's the Game of Thrones characters, right? I didn't get that at all when I was watching this trailer. I didn't know who that was. But yeah, there's a fun little trailer for it. It's currently closed alpha. Spoilers, sorry. It's currently closed alpha. But there is an open alpha on the way if you wanted to play it. It will also be a free-to-play game, so they're probably going to have a bunch of microtransactions for costumes and stuff. Like, they'll have a shit ton of costumes for Batman, at least. I don't know, whatever else they're going to do. That's... What the fuck's that thing called? Steven Universe? Adventure Time, I think? Tasmanian Devil, and I think Harley Quinn shows up. Yeah, Harley Quinn. And then Superman and Iron Giant are elsewhere in the thing. Anyway, stop putting Iron Giant into violent situations. That's not his whole deal. Stop doing it. Anyway, other updates. Fall Guys goes free to play and will also be launching on Xbox and Switch. So it's pretty much going to be on everything. I would imagine there's going to be cross-platform, cross-play, whatever you want to put it. I thought Fall Guys was free to play, actually. It's kind of news for me. I always thought it was a free-to-play game, but apparently it isn't. But it will be next month. So yeah, if you wanted to get into the Fall Guys shenanigans, there you go. It's free now. Or not now, next month. And The Witcher 3's new gen version, the PS5, Xbox Series, PC patch, probably, is going to be arriving the end of this year. The game will arrive during the fourth quarter of this year, 2022. It was said that it was put on the back burner when Cyberpunk came out in a shitty state, and they were basically scrambling to get that back up to scratch. So it was meant to be out last year, I think, but now it'll come out at the end of this year. I guess they think Cyberpunk is okay now. Your mileage may vary on that one. Okay, new releases this week. So we have Dolmen, which I talked about way at the start of the year because it looked interesting. The more I've seen of the game, though, the more clunky it looks. So maybe it'll end up on PS Plus at some point and we'll get it that way. It comes to Epic Store. Oh, Fall Guys, yeah. Fall Guys is, so the Steam launcher for Fall Guys is actually going to be removed, and it's going to the Epic Store. But your account and whatever will still work fine. You'll just have to get the launcher off the Epic Store. But again, it's a free game, so it's not like, I'm sure you've already signed up for the Epic Store for their free games anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue. Anyway, getting back to Dolmen. Dolmen is a sci-fi something Souls game. This trailer is doing a very bad job of showing you what kind of gameplay it actually is, but it is that kind of deliberate action RPG thing, like the Dark Souls type deal. Yeah, it's doing a terrible job showing you what the gameplay is. Anyway. And then we also have Vampire the Masquerade Swansong, which I am very looking forward to. So this is set in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, where vampires, modern day, they have like an entire hierarchy, like a secret government thing going on. And some murders have happened, and they have tasked 3 different characters. I believe you pick one, I think, and go through the story as them, or maybe you alternate between them, I'm not sure. And you need to figure out what's going on, and you need to navigate like human society, because obviously the police also want to know what's happening here, so you need to like navigate your way through that by either like threatening them or turning them or charming them or whatever, so that you have access to the different restricted areas and so on. But then you also have vampire powers and such, so yeah, really looking forward to this. And also because Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, when the hell is that coming out? I don't know. It's gonna be a very long time anyway. But yes, vampires, and I am currently on a bit of a vampire bend at the moment, well, as we are playing Vampire the game. But anyway, that's out. It'll be on the channel at some point. Okay, it is now time to talk about the worst part of the video game industry. So, EA looking to sell or merge. So there have been some rumors that EA may possibly be on the acquisition board, because so many other companies have been doing it. Like, you're aware of the Activision Microsoft one. Take-Two and Zynga has just completed. Sony bought Bungie, and they're buying a bunch of others. Embracer bought a bunch of Square Enix's Western titles and so on. So there's a lot of mergers and acquisitions going on at the moment. So EA have been talking to NBC Universal for some reason, Disney for some reason, and Apple for some reason. Why? None of these, and Amazon, it's said later. Amazon at least makes sense because they have a gaming division. The rest of them don't. Why are you doing this? Why would you want to merge with any of them? A deal isn't currently in the works. Andrew Wilson and Electronic Arts have held talks with a number of different potential suitors, including Disney, Apple, and Amazon, which is kind of weird because Disney, classically, Disney have not done very well in the video game space. They would open studios, put out one game, the game wouldn't do well, then they'd close the studio. Like that's kind of how they've worked. When they bought the Star Wars franchises and LucasArts and so on, they shuttered them. You know, they didn't keep those studios going. So they're kind of a weird choice to go out with. Apple, similarly, don't really dip their toe into the video game market. They're kind of happy to just host the platform. And Amazon at least do have a video game studio, maybe. You have to squint to find them, but they're there apparently. EA has been persistent in pursuing a sale. However, EA is primarily interested in a merger arrangement that would allow Wilson to remain as chief executive. So basically what they want is money. Just give us money so we can keep going. Maybe because they've lost the FIFA license and they're about to lose the Star Wars license, they're like, things may not be going too well for us soon. So yeah, it's on the cards. They are looking to either merge or sell. We'll see how that goes. And then this is basically a continuation of the Jim Ryan abortion/cat party letter that he put out last week. So Insomniac, who are responsible for Ratchet & Clank and Marvel Spider-Man, this was an internal letter from Tim Price, who's head of that studio, saying that Sony is currently refusing to approve any statements its PlayStation studios might want to make. So any public statements that of studios Sony currently owns, they're basically stifling them from doing anything. And Tim Price said there would be material repercussions if it went against Sony's wishes. So there's some chilling effects there going on. Higher ups at Sony, Jim Ryan, etc. are like, nope, we don't want to alienate our fan base. Then you would also ask the question of, do you really want those people as fans? capitalism does some weird things to your brain. Anyway, Insomniac have made the decision to donate 50 grand US dollars to the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project, and Sony has agreed to match it, but privately. And they're not going to make a statement about it. They're not going to say, hey, we donated thing, whatever, we're great. They're not going to do that. Sony won't authorize any public statement Insomniac might want to make. Staff have been expressly forbidden from mentioning either Sony or Insomniac in any PR release should the Women's Reproductive choose to make an announcement about the donation. Sony Interactive Entertainment will not approve any statements from any studio on the topic of reproductive rights. This is again from Insomniac's Ted Price. We fought hard for this and we did not win. So yeah, they're very much pushing back against that. So this is news that their public-facing persona is they're not going to take a side, but it seems like privately they are taking a side. So the case is why just make it public. I mean, it's not like this is a secret. Like, it's already gotten out. Just lean into it. Anyway, the company is being more accommodating behind the scenes, and both Sony and Insomniac are formulating an initiative to provide financial assistance to any employees who need to travel for reproductive care and so on. It's disappointing that they would. Why hide this? Like, the only reason they would hide something like this is because they would be wary of whatever the public response would be, and the public response would be good that you're doing this. Of course, the other side of that is the shitheads who are like, no, why are you doing this? Only talk about games. Keep politics out of video games, guys. You don't want those people. You don't really want those people as fans or customers or whatever. But again, capitalism rots your brain. So it's disappointing. But anyway. So yeah, actually not a whole lot of industry bullshit this week. I don't know why. I guess the games industry was just very quiet. Anyway. We're going to finish with some dumb stuff. PlayStation has compiled a handy dictionary of gaming terms and slang. So this is a very much how do you do fellow kids for the parents when they're hearing their children talk about stupid shit. Or if you're just hearing your colleagues who are like big gamers or whatever, dropping weird gaming slang and you're like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So if your boss tells you to get good at work, at least now you'll know what he means. A deliberate misspelling of get good. Get good is an injunction to raise one's own skill level in response to a particularly difficult challenge. Players complaining of an unreasonable difficulty in a game are often encouraged to get good, persevering with the game and overcoming the challenge through patience and learning. Well, I guess they're deliberately leaving out the part where it's also a shitty, toxic thing to say to somebody. A noob tube, originally referring to grenade launchers, a noob tube typically refers to powerful, easy-to-use weapons that are popular with inexperienced players, particularly in competitive multiplayer. Yes, big RPG, fire it at the spawn point. Wrecked, often stylized as wrecked or wrecked. This obviously doesn't play well audio only, but whatever. To be wrecked or to wreck another is to best or be bested easily, typically in a one-on-one encounter. Get wrecked is a common victory put down when overcoming a difficult or tenacious enemy. And it goes on like this. So there's an entire dictionary or glossary if you want. There's a full link to it there. It's pretty dumb. Anyway, we'll leave you to loop, I guess. You playing? Are you still looping? Yeah, sure. Okay, anyway. No, stop. Play. Anyway, that was the news for the 16th to the 22nd of May, 2022. So the PlayStation Plus list of games, that is not a complete list of games. Like, it's just a really unhype way to announce the games. It's like, here is the list. It's like, could you not have done like a trailer for it or a video for it, like an image slideshow, something to show how the games will actually look. You know, that's kind of what people really want to know. Like, will they look in 4:3 aspect ratio? Will they look super blurry? Will they look the way they looked on a CRT monitor and so on? That's what people want to know, and we still don't, which is kind of the issue. Some updates from some games. So Soulstice looks interesting. The Chant will probably be your standard walking simulator horror game, but you know, it's pretty decent looking graphically. Multiversus, don't know. From what I've seen from people's responses to the closed alpha, it seems like it's a bit of fun. So I guess we'll see what like microtransaction shit they happen to go into there. What was the other game? I've forgotten what the other game was. What was it? Oh, Spirittea, right? Yeah, it's more Stardew Valley. Like, why wouldn't you want? Why wouldn't you want that? And we don't know when the Chocolatier game that Concerned Ape is working on. We don't know when that's actually going to release. So, yeah, more of that, sure. And the Fall Guys going to free to play. I thought it was already. It turns out it wasn't. But anyway, yeah, good news. And then more players just from it being free to play, but then also opening up to Xbox and Switch will also get them in a lot more players. And then The Witcher current gen patch or whatever, sure. I mean, it's been a long time coming. Witcher fans have certainly been waiting for it. I've been waiting for that patch to go back and play The Witcher 3. So I do want to replay the whole Witcher series, hopefully on the channel at some point. Getting Witcher 1 to work might be an issue. But yeah, so I have been waiting for that patch, so that'll be good. New releases, Dolmen, probably not going to be that great. Certainly its reviews would suggest it's probably not going to be that great. And then what we're looking at here, Vampire the Masquerade Swansong. The reviews have been, it's okay, but I'm really into vampires, so that's already like plus 2 points to them, plus 2 stars. EA looking to merge or be acquired, sure. Not surprised. They've lost a lot of their big tentpoles now. The FIFA license will hurt them, despite what they say. It will hurt them, and they're losing the Star Wars license because of how poorly they've handled it, basically. So, yeah, they've lost some money makers there. So yeah, not surprising. And then it's just Sony taking just a weird stance on political issues that a lot of other video game studios have come out in favor for. It just paints them in a really awkward light. Anyway, so yeah, that was the news for 16th to 22nd of May 2022. On the channel this week, we played more Vampire. So one of our patients at the hospital has turned and has killed another patient and has disappeared out into London, and we are off to hunt them down. 2064 read-only memories. We have hit a dead end in our investigation. So we are basically following some very tenuous leads. But when we did that, the person we were going to talk to got thrown out a window. Like literally right after they talked to us, we walked out of the building, we turned around, and they were thrown out a window. So some shenanigans are happening here. FIFA was huge. Says Melvin, yeah, like losing that license is really, really going to hurt them. Will they recover from it when like word of mouth gets around that their new EA Sports football club is FIFA? They'll probably get back up on it, but yes, in the intervening time, it's going to hurt their bottom line. No stream last Friday. On Saturday, we had some shenanigans because I wanted to play Xenoblade Chronicles, but it hadn't downloaded in time, so I had to play a bit of Ghostwire Tokyo instead. So I went to get the 100% ending for Ghostwire Tokyo. It turns out there is no 100% ending. There's a trophy for doing it, which led me to believe that there was some change in the ending, but there isn't. It's the same ending, but you did it with 100% completion. It's like, great. Anyway, we have the platinum for it. There was no reason to ever go back to that game. And then Xenoblade Chronicles did finally download when we had finished that, so we played a bit of that. We played the start of Xenoblade Chronicles. That is going to be a gigantic game, so it's pretty much going to be the Saturday game for the next month, at least. Probably longer. Yeah, without the licenses for EA Sports, well, the only license they've lost is the FIFA license. So they still have the Premiership, they'll still have La Liga, they'll still have Champions League. Other football things. I'm afraid I don't really follow football, so that's about the extent of my knowledge. But as far as I'm aware, they still have those licenses. The only one they've really lost is national teams and the World Cup. Which again, will it really only hurt them in World Cup years, obviously, because that's when it's at its most hype. There you are. So yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles. So next week we're more or less going to continue as it was. Vampire 2064 Read Only Memories and more Xenoblade Chronicles. But I am considering alternating either Vampire or 2064 with something else, because I don't really want to be playing the same 3 games every week, which is probably what's going to be happening. So I am considering alternating or swapping out 2064 or Vampire or both with some other game so that we're alternating. On the treadmill. Being on the treadmill makes it hard to write. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't figured out what that's going to be yet or what we're going to change, but yeah, I'll find out. You'll know. Keep an eye on Twitter under my face. I'll probably let you know there. Also, there will be a stream on Friday, but again, I don't know what it's going to be yet. I need to check what has come out recently and what I'm not planning on making a full LP. So we'll have to see what those are. So it won't be Swansong because I am going to make that a full LP. So we'll just have to see. Anyway, that was the news and the channel update for this week. Yeah, so let me know what you thought. Maybe you have a suggestion for what game I can swap out for Vampire or 2064 or a one shot to do on the Friday. Let me know. Let me know in the comments or on Twitter or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to head off. That's me for today. So have a good evening or night or sleep or breakfast or whatever it is you're doing. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.